My name is Brother Felix Maria. I'm a monk with the Maronite monks of Adoration. I think the challenge for a lot of people is understanding the cloistered contemplative life. Why would you choose to shut yourself off from the world in a cloister? Why wouldn't you want to be active out in the world, serving in so many ministries that are so important for the struggling and suffering humanity? Why would you just leave everything and just pray? What does that do for anybody? In the contemplative life, we serve our function as the praying Christ, to assist and aid those who are the active Christ. The Christ who's serving the poor, Christ who's working in the hospitals, the Christ who is the parish priest serving the local parishioners. And we're the praying Christ on the mountain. We're the praying Christ alone. We're at the heart of the church. Just like the heart pumps blood to the rest of the body to give it life, if you didn't have the contemplatives praying for the church and for the world, the body would be dead. We become channels of grace in that way, where we're pumping grace through the mystical body of Christ, through God using us, simple men who are sinners, to pray and make reparation and offer up the sacrifice of our life. We leave the world and we give up everything. We leave the world and all of its pleasures, all of its goods. We give up family and careers. We give up the ownership of material goods, all things that are, inherently good and fine. But we choose to make a sacrifice for the church and for the world and for souls. And I think in that very sacrifice, in that detachment, and in the penance of our life, we're offering up through, with, and in the mystical body of Christ for each member of the mystical body of Christ. All those little sacrifices, all those penances, all of our prayer, our reparation, our adoration. We are here for the world. We get prayer requests constantly from people who ask us to pray for them for various needs. Sometimes we hear back that, what they asked us to pray for, their prayers were answered. Our prayers were answered. And it's a great encouragement, and it's God saying that, your life is affecting the world. So our life and our charism is centered around Eucharistic adoration. We simply live our life of silent adoration centered on Christ in the Eucharist. It's a Eucharistic life where we really enter into that close intimacy with Christ and His presence, even when we're not in Eucharistic adoration, continuing that presence with Christ throughout the day in recollection by remembering Him and thinking of Him and praying continually throughout the day. And so our life of silence and solitude allows us that opportunity to always be with God. It's a silence that's full. It's a silence that's alive, because the presence of God is with us in that. And as monks, our apostolate of prayer, adoration, and reparation are the service that we offer to the church and to the world, just to communicate that truth of Christ's presence with us in the Eucharist, and to make reparation. By our faith, we make reparation for those who don't have faith. By our hope, we make reparation for those who don't hope. By our love, we make reparation for those who don't love. And every act throughout the day is really an act of reparation. By giving up and leaving the world, we let go of the superfluous things that distract us from union with God, from our call to holiness. And we point to the fact that this world is not our home. While we live in it, we're not of it. While the world has been created good, it still points, and we point to heaven. That's our home. Our life with God is where we're being led to. And I think as monks, that's what we most especially point to, is the spiritual reality. We're being led by Him, with Him, in Him and through Him, to Him in heaven for all of eternity. For now, we live in a temporal place. But when we die, we'll be in an eternal place. And that place that we want to be is heaven. And so that's what we as monks point to and say that this is the truth. And let's all go there together.